it's been an interesting year for Coyotes goalies. Connor Ingram and Karel Vejmelka have each played different roles. The Coyotes went with like a rotating goalie rotation for weeks, and then it was all Ingy, and then it was all Veggie, and it's just been a weird goalie situation. So let's take a look at the two goalies against each other. Connor Ingram, 26 games played, 2.51 goals against average, 919 save percentage, 5 shutouts, and a goal saved above expected of 16 plus 16.5, courtesy of J Fresh Hockey. Karel Vejmelka, meanwhile, has 19 games played, a 3.32 goals against average, an 899 save percentage, 1 shutout, and a minus 0.7 goals saved above expected. That's from Evolving Hockey. So, again, when you put it head to head, Connor Ingram kind of clearly has obviously the better stats here. It just makes the whole situation with the goalies this season that much more interesting, why it's been the way it's been.
Have we mentioned that Connor Ingram's stats are much better than Alexander Gorgiev's as well? I don't know if we put that out there yet, so I just want to make sure that people realize that his stats are much better than an all-star selection. But anyway, yeah, you're right, Leah. This has been a weird year with the goalies. Like for 20 full games, we went with rotating on a game-by-game basis. Then Ingy got hot. They rode him for a while. Vejmelka had a shorter hot streak, and now Connor Ingram's hot again. But the overall picture, and listen, sample sizes are important when measuring the success of a player. No statistician will even look at something like that's less than 20 games and say it's at all relevant. We've reached that point, at least with Connor Ingram, where we can see, okay, once he rebounded and had these last 2 games that he had, you're like, this guy by and large this season has been an elite NHL goaltender. I really wonder, and again, I'm going to defer to Petey on this, because he's been inside the coaching room, but I wonder how you manage it over the second half of the season. Corey Schwab. You've worked with Corey Schwab. Everything that you need from both of your goaltenders. You understand the lay of the land. But to me, to the outsiders, Connor Ingram is clearly the better goaltender right now. At this point in both of their careers, don't you have to ride him as much as possible, knowing that you want to stay competitive, be in a playoff race late in the season?
I mean, the common sense answer is, of course. And I think sometimes common sense inside the coach's room is a little different than it is out here in the outside world. Connor Ingram has been exceptional. And you talk about his numbers across the best goaltenders in the National Hockey League right now, and he's right there. And those teams, no offense to the Coyotes defense, but those guys are playing on teams that have much better defense and much, a deeper defensive core and different defensive systems. So to be playing as well as he is here in Arizona is phenomenal. And it's a phenomenal improvement over last season, where his numbers weren't nearly as good as they are today. Karel Vejmelka's numbers this year are the same as they were last year. This is Karel Vejmelka. I mean, I hate
they almost match his career stats.
This is him. This is what Karel Vejmelka is, and I don't know what it is. And I don't know if it's a soapbox moment, but I don't know what it is inside that coach's room. And it does begin with Corey Schwab. Corey Schwab has a view and an outlook of Karel Vejmelka. He really personally likes Karel Vejmelka. He likes him. And I keep thinking that he's pushing, I don't know this supposition, that he's pushing the head coach to go, hey, he's going to come out of this. He's going to come out of this. He's going to come out of this, because he has shown glimpses of excellence. Glimpses, phenomenal 50 save shutout in Winnipeg. Those moments have been there, but at some point, you have to go, Ingram's our guy. Ingram's our guy. You just have to. Every team has to accept that. And we're talking some excellent, quick ones, Stanley Cups, and eventually they got to go, you know what? He's our backup. Marc-Andre Fleury, yeah, he's been great and he's won cups, but now he's our backup. Karel Vejmelka did none of those things. Karel Vejmelka's played in the league for 2 years. I don't know what anointed him to be a number one goalie in this league. I really don't understand it. Statistically, he hasn't proven it. So I don't know why the thought process is he has to keep going back to Vejmelka. I don't understand. When Vejmelka got on this roster 2 seasons ago, we were thinking he was going to Tucson. We were thinking the team was acquiring this player to go to Tucson, and all of a sudden now he's a number one. He was entitled to the first start of the year this year. Well, Ingram was better in training camp, but you know what? Veggie's got to get the start. Well, why? I don't understand what has put him and vaulted him so much above where Connor Ingram was at the start of the season that he's entitled to that start. Now, Shane Doan's a veteran player that struggled through training camp, and you know what? He was Shane Doan. He was one of the best players to ever play in the franchise. He's starting game one. Karel Vejmelka, I don't know if he's earned that status yet. And yet every time he stumbles, we got to keep putting him out. Got to keep putting him out. Got to keep putting him out. And I guess I'm here to say, Connor Ingram, ride the hell out of him. Because I think Connor Ingram has been outstanding, not just the better of the two goalies here, but he's been one of the best goalies in the National
Yeah.
Hockey League this season. And you need these points now. You need to ride him. I understand there's back-to-backs. There's 3 and 4, and there's situations where Connor Ingram needs a rest because this franchise, more than any other, has blown up goalies because they played too much. And you look at Darcy Kemper, you look at Antti Ranta, and you guys, even Mike Smith, they played extended periods of times and end up getting hurt. You need to alleviate that by using the other goaltender. That's why 2 goalies are so important. But for now, and the short-term future, it has to be Connor Ingram getting those starts.
Yeah, and just to highlight how good Connor Ingram has been, and we gave our whole argument for why he should have been an all-star the other night. You can go back and watch that. It's on our YouTube channel now. But the stat goal saved above expected, if we can take a look at this ranking, this is all goal saved above expected leaders as of January 14th, courtesy of JFresh Hockey. This was also in Craig's story. Jacob Markstrom leads the league. He's been on a hot streak. But right below him at number 2 is Connor Ingram, followed by Thatcher Demko, Connor Hellebuyck, Linus Ullmark. Like, these are unreal goalies. Joey Decord's on this list when Seattle was on a 9-game winning streak. It's just crazy to see the names that he's above here, and not to mention he leads the league in shutouts.
Yeah, and that's one of the things too. I think it's important to say, and some of these statistics, and Craig and I have seen advanced statistics that you go, I'm not sure about this metric. So you've got to look at the people that are surrounding him, and when you see the names surrounding Connor Ingram on this list, you go, oh my goodness. And well, Joey Decord has been absolutely lights out for the Seattle Kraken. He has been lights out in Seattle. And you talked about Lindgren in Washington. He's clearly their better goalie over Kemper this season. So these guys, that list is legit. It's real. And he is number 2 in the National Hockey League on that metric. Again, he has to get the start. And I'm sure he'll get the start in Calgary coming off of the shutout, but they have a day off between games. I don't know how you don't put him in against the Vancouver Canucks. And here's the other reason why. This Vancouver Canuck team is extremely good off of the rush. They get odd man rushes. They get breakaways. They have incredible speed and skill. And if you go look at the metrics for Karel Vejmelka on breakaways and odd man rushes, he has difficulties in that area. So to me, it isn't even a question on who gets the next 2 starts. I mean, I've penciled him in right now, barring something happening if he gets blown up and pulled against Calgary. But even then, I'd come back with him against Vancouver.
Just want to come back to one point you made earlier, P, with this metric in particular. Analytics are sometimes difficult to decipher, right? Because there are variables that they may not be considering or may not come into play. They may not be considering everything that they need to get a measure. But when you look across the board at the analytics, whether it's high danger percentage or goals saved above expected, Connor Ingram's top 5 in all of these. Listen, analytics people will tell you there's only a certain degree of accuracy, so you have to factor that in. It's all dependent on the model. But every model that you look at for goals saved above expected, he's top 5 right now. High danger save percentage, he's top 5. All these other stats, he's among the elite goaltenders in the NHL. Through 41 games, there is no question that Connor Ingram is the better goaltender on the Coyotes, and he is one of the best goaltenders in the NHL.